Welcome to Crooked Yoga. My name is Hannah. Start in a comfortable seat, please. We'll just jump right in today. If sitting up is actually not comfortable or if you're feeling tired, you can lie down instead. Place your hands to the tops of your thighs, or if you prefer, place your palms in front of your heart. Either lower your gaze or softly close your eyes. And if you're lying on your back, you can rest your hands on your abdomen as an additional option. Bring your attention to your breath. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. I'm going to first begin by noticing how and if you're breathing. Meaning maybe you're holding your breath in places. Of course you are breathing. And so you begin deepen your inhale and exhale to match, both in length and in depth. So you begin breathe in all parts of your diaphragm, so it's not just that your chest is lifting, it's that your whole rib cage is expanding on your inhale. And with your exhale, your whole rib cage contracts. If you are lying down, please sit up. Switch the cross of your shins. Bring your left hand to your right leg. Place your right hand to the floor behind you. I have a long torso, so I like to use a block, long torso and short limbs. Lengthen your spine, sit tall, and then twist to the right. Bend your elbows a little. Reach your elbows apart to broaden your chest, and then lift your chest and twist a little more. Back to center. Either place your hands behind you and work on lengthening your spine up, or walk your hands forward, fold over your legs. If when you do this, your hips lift high away from the floor, I would recommend going back to hands behind you, torso upright. Walk your hands in, lift your torso. Switch the cross of your shins. Place your right hand to your left leg. Place your left hand to the floor behind you. Lengthen your spine. Twist to the left. Apparently there is a cicada in the tree. Bend your elbows. Reach your elbows apart to broaden your chest, and then into that space, twist a little more. Come back to center. Bring your fingertips behind you. Prioritize on lengthening your spine. Or fold forward and walk your hands out in front of you. It'll be a bit more of a slow flow today, which means more room for attention, more room for detail, and also more room for space. Walk your hands in. Lie down on your back, please. Have your block close by. If you don't have a block, you can use a blanket, a towel, or just something that lifts you away from the floor. Draw your knees into your chest. Hold the fronts of your shins with your hands, or wrap your arms around your legs. Continue to breathe evenly. You can even rock side to side or just be still. Lower your feet to the floor. You can rest here with your knees bent, feet on the floor with your shoulder blades underneath you, that's fine. Or if you have a block or a blanket, lift your hips up a little, slide your block on the lowest height, or fold your blanket so it's about 4 inches high. Be sure that your prop is underneath your hips, not your spine. Walk your shoulder blades in. Turn your arms out a little bit so that the rotation of your arms turns your palms toward the ceiling. Lift your chin just enough to where your jawline is vertical and let your head be heavy. Gently lift your hips up, move your prop out of the way. Lower your hips back down. Straighten your legs on your mat, bring your legs all the way together. Even your feet together. Keep your left leg as it is. Draw your right leg in and behind your thigh, interlace your hands. If getting the back of your thigh is not accessible, you can use a strap or a belt. Push your thigh into your hands until your arms straighten. Then begin to straighten your right leg to capacity. Capacity when it comes to straight legs means the place where you can stay strong and receive a stretch without any strain. Push your thigh into your hands. Reach through both feet. Release your right leg to meet your left. Bring your legs and feet together. Draw your left leg in, behind your left thigh, and release your hands. Push your thigh into your hands, do or don't begin to straighten your leg. Instead of pulling your leg towards you, push your thigh into your hands. Reach through both feet. Gently release your left leg. Bend your knees, place your feet to the floor. Widen your feet a little. You can keep your hands on your torso or reach your arms off to the sides, but do little windshield wiper motions with your knees. Choose a pace that feels soothing for your low back. Keep both shoulders on the floor. No matter what your legs are doing, both shoulders on the floor. Come back to center. Lift your hips again. This time sit on your hands. So your hands are on the floor underneath your hips. Push into your hands and help yourself to a seat. Turn over and help yourself to hands and knees. Bring your arms and your upper legs straight up and down. And spread your fingers evenly. Grip the floor with your fingers. That'll help stabilize your wrists. And with your inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round your back like a Halloween cat for cat pose. With your inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, and soften your upper back down for cow pose. Keep moving in this way. Back to a neutral spine, please. Bring your big toes together, your knees a little wider than your hips, and sit your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Walk your hands forward, lower your forehead to the floor, a blanket or a block. Keep your arms straight and strong. Push from your shoulders into your hands and stretch your hips back toward your heels. Gently make your way back up to hands and knees, please. Again, spread your fingers wide, grip the floor with your hands, and for down dog, walk your knees back, curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Bring whatever type of movement you wish into your down dog. But no matter what, to stabilize your wrists, grip the floor with your hands and push your index knuckles down. That's the big knuckle on the inside of your palm, right where your first finger meets your hand. Whether you're moving in your legs or not, reach your hips back. Bring your feet together. Shift forward plank pose with your knees on or off the floor. Knees down will give you more support. Tone your abdomen in. Without lifting your hips, lift your upper back slightly, lift your head. Take an inhale in your plank pose. Exhale, lower down. Uncurl your toes, press your feet into the floor. Press your tailbone in, abdomen in, then lift your shoulders onto your back. With your elbows still bent, lift your head and chest away from the floor for a little cobra. Reach your elbows back, shoulders back, and your chest forward. Gently lower down. Through hands and knees or through plank pose, press up and back to down dog. Shift your hips a little to the left. Step your right foot in between your hands. If it lands somewhere back here, you can hold your ankle and help it. Lower your back knee to the floor. Place your hands to your hips and lift your torso. At first, back off out of your front knee a little and squeeze your back knee toward your front heel. Squeeze your inner thighs in. Point your elbows back, squeeze your shoulders onto your back. Press your hands into your hips, lengthen your spine. Stay here or maintaining the length in your torso, the squeeze in your legs, begin to sit your hips down and forward. Keep pointing your left hip bone forward, your left inner thigh back. This is a variation on monkey lunge. Lower your hands to the floor. Keep your fingertips down, curl your back toes under, lift your knee. So now you're in a low lunge. Lift your back thigh and squeeze your right outer hip back. Press your hands down and stretch your chest forward. Step back, down dog. Step your left foot in between your hands. Help it along as needed. And lower your back knee to the floor. You can pad your back knee with a blanket if this is uncomfortable. Lift your torso, place your hands to your hips. At first, move your weight back a little bit. Squeeze your back knee toward your front heel. Squeeze your inner thighs in. Pull your elbows back, squeeze your shoulders in. Press your hands down, lengthen your spine. Keep the length of your spine, the squeeze of your legs, and begin to sit your hips down and forward. Keep your right hip bone pointing forward, your right inner thigh turning back. Press your hands down again, go for more length. Bring your attention back to your breath. Lower your hands to the floor on fingertips. Curl your back toes under, lift your back leg. So now your back thigh is more or less parallel to the floor. To straighten your back leg more, lift your back thigh. Squeeze your left left outer hip back. Push your fingertips down and stretch your chest forward. Down dog. Wiggle your heels side to side slightly. Turn your right index finger forward or a little bit out. Change my mind. Point your left index finger forward or a little bit out. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Step your right foot toward the middle of your mat and turn your right foot to the right. Bring your top hand to your hip and stack your shoulders so your chest is open. Stay here or extend your top arm up. Grip the floor with your left hand, index knuckle down. Push your hand down and forward. Push your feet down, lift your hips. Lift your chest, lift your chin. Stretch through your top arm. Lower your top hand, fingers wide, down dog. Stay long in your down dog. Turn your right index finger forward or a little bit out. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Step your left foot toward the middle of your mat. Turn it toward the left side of your mat and twist open to stack your shoulders, hands on your hips. Stay here or extend your top arm up. Grip the floor with your right hand, index knuckle down. Push your feet down, lift your hips. Turn in your chest. Lift your chest, lift your chin, and stretch through your top fingers. Lower your top hand down, dog. Lift your gaze towards your hands and step or hop your feet forward. Bring your feet hip width apart, parallel to each other, and fold over your legs. Bring your hands to your shins or the tops of your thighs and inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, fold. Place your hands to your hips with your inhale, stand up. Exhale, lower your arms by your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Bring your feet all the way together. Lift your arms overhead. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. For more support, you can bring your right hand to your hip. Stretch up through your left hand. Lean your torso to the right, hips to the left. Tone your abdomen in. Lift your chest, lift your chin. Push your left foot down and with your right hand pull. Come back up. Switch sides. Take hold of your right wrist or bring your left hand to your hip. Stretch up, lean left, and move your hips to the right. Tone your abdomen in. Lift your chest, lift your chin. Push your right foot down. Pull on your left wrist. Right wrist. Lift back up. Lower your arms by your sides, mountain pose. Okay, step to the middle of your mat. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Tree pose is next. Lean into your left leg. Lift your right heel. Turn on the ball of your right foot to the right so that your knee points to the right. You can keep your foot on the floor for more support or bring your foot to your ankle, your calf, or above your knee to your inner thigh. If holding your ankle is helpful, keep hold of it. Otherwise, place your hands in front of your heart or lift your arms overhead. Pull up on your left kneecap so your left quad that's the front of your thigh is firm. Extend your tailbone down. Lift your chest up, chin up, and stretch your arms not just up, but back. If your hands are in front of your heart, lift your heart into your hands. Release, mountain pose. Lean into your right foot. Lift your left heel. Turn on the ball of your left foot to point your knee out. Stay here, place your foot to your ankle, your calf, or above your knee to your thigh. Keep your hand as it is if it's helpful, otherwise place your palms in front of your heart or arms overhead. Lift up on your right kneecap to make your leg strong. Push your foot and your leg together, press your tailbone in. Lift your chest, lift your chin, and stretch your arms up and back. Release, mountain pose. Step back to the front of your mat. Ooh, have your block nearby, toward the front of your mat. If you don't have a block, you can use anything that gives you height. You can use water bottles, whatever you've got. Lift your arms overhead, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and extend. You can use your block. Exhale, forward. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor. You can use a blanket again. Widen your right foot to the right. Bring both hands to the inside of your front foot. Stay here, lower your elbows to the floor inside of your front foot, and you can use your block for your elbows as a middle place. Like you did in your monkey lunge, squeeze your back knee toward your front heel, move your right outer hip back. Push your forearms down so you're strong in your arms, and then soften your heart. Gently walk your hands in. Bring your foot back in toward the middle and crawl your toes forward so you're lengthening your stance. Keeping your back thigh straight up and down, shift your hips back, flex your front foot until your front leg is moving in the direction of straight. You can use your block underneath your hands inside of your front foot. Dig your heel down and back. Stretch your chest forward and the slightest tip up. Stay here, or if you can maintain the length in your spine, bend your elbows and fold. Today is a day where upright is better for me. Slide your heel back. Remember, we lengthen the stance. Lower your right foot to the floor. Curl your back toes under and step your left foot forward. With your inhale, stand up. Stretch your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms by your sides, Tadasana. Second side. Inhale, lift your arms up, stretch up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and extend. You can use your block or your shins. Exhale, fold. This time, step your right foot back to a lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor or a blanket. Widen your left foot and place both hands or forearms to the floor inside of your front foot. You can use your block under your elbows for a little more height. This is Bella, our fearless companion. She might have to go inside in a moment. Squeeze your back knee forward. Squeeze your left outer hip back. Push into your arms so your arms are strong, and then soften your heart. Gently help yourself back onto your fingertips. Bring your left foot in and crawl your left foot forward. Keeping your back thigh more or less straight up and down, shift your hips back, begin to straighten your front leg and flex your left toes. You can use a block inside of your front foot under both hands. Straighten your arms. Dig your heel down and back and stretch your chest forward. If you did on the first side, bend your elbows, fold. I'm going to stay right where I am. Begin to slide your heel back, bend your knee. Lower your left foot to the floor. Step your right foot forward. Fold over your legs. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms by your sides, Tadasana. All right. Stay at the front of your mat. I'm going to step back. Actually, scratch that. Step back to the middle of your mat, but still face the front of your mat. Lean into your left leg, behind your right thigh, and release your hands. As you push your thigh into your hands, lift your chest. We did this on our backs. Stay here or begin to straighten your right leg. Stay here, or if you're feeling real crazy, lift your arms overhead and keep lifting your leg with your leg. All right. Lower your right foot to the floor, arms by your sides. Behind your left thigh and release your hands. Push your leg down, lift your chest up. Begin to straighten your left leg. Stay here or lift your arms overhead. Squeeze your inner thighs in, lift your leg with your leg, and as you stretch your arms up, also move them back. Lower your left foot. Lower your arms by your sides. Reach your arms now again overhead. Lift your right toes back behind you. Lift your chest, stretch through your hands. You can stay here for Warrior 3. Hinge forward from your hips. Lift your back leg. Keep your hips square to the floor, turn your abdomen in, and reach your hands and back foot up hard. Make your standing leg strong or bend it. Bending it will strengthen it. Come back up. Lower your arms, mountain pose. Inhale, lift your arms up. Bring your left foot behind you, toes pointed. Tone your abdomen in. Stretch up. Then hinge forward from your hips, lift your back leg, and bend your standing knee if you need to. Tone your lowest belly in. Keep your hips level. And then stretch your hands and back foot apart. Come back up. Lower your arms, mountain pose. Step to the top of your mat, please. Block still nearby. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor. Oh, messed that up. Turn your right knee and foot out at an angle, so they're pointing in the same direction. Walk your left hand out and forward, so it's potentially even off your mat. Lean into your left hand, similar to your side plank, and turn your chest open to the right. Extend your top arm back toward the back of your mat. Do or don't, bend your back knee and catch your back foot with your top hand. Move your heel to your hip. Then move your hip to your heel. With your heel and hip touching, which means your knee joint is closed, move your hips down and forward. You're still getting a thigh stretch even if you don't have your back foot. Move both shoulders back, lift your chest, and twist. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. The practice of yoga is unique in that it cultivates the awareness of even where our awareness goes. Release your back foot. And also, therefore, where we are not aware of. Lower your hands to the floor. Bring your right foot in. Switch your feet. Left foot forward, right foot back. Lower your back knee to the floor or blanket. Turn your left foot and knee out at an angle so your knee and your foot are pointing in the same direction. Walk your right hand out and forward. Lean into your right hand, like your side plank, turn in your chest, stack your shoulders. Reach your top arm back so your chest is open. And do or don't, bend your back knee and catch your back foot. Move your hip back, bring your heel and hip together. Move your hips down and forward. Squeeze your back knee forward, tone your abdomen in. Move your shoulders back, lift your chest, and throw your head back. See if you can step away from the little pieces of alignment to experience the pose in one big, solid piece. Release your back foot. Lower your top hand. Step your right foot forward. Fold over your legs, exhale. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale again, fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, arms by your sides, mountain pose. You're at the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back, down dog. Shift forward, plank pose, knees on or off the floor. Exhale, lower down. Okay. Bring your arms by your sides, turn your palms up. It's either a locust pose with your knees bent, or it's bow pose. I'll talk you through both. One at a time, bend your knees. We're all gonna go through this together. Bring your inner feet together. That's not the soles of your feet so your knees go wide like a frog. It's inner ankle bones in. Press your hands down, pubic bone down, lift your head and chest up. Stay here, or lift your thighs up. Stay here, or lift your arms up. Potentially hold your outer feet or ankles with your hands. Now your feet will spread, but keep squeezing your inner thighs in like your inner ankles were touching. If you're holding your heels, lift your feet with your hands. Push your feet back to lift your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades in. Gently release. Rest for a moment. You can use your hands as a pillow for your face. If there's any discomfort in your low back, you can bend your knees. And like you did with your windshield wipers earlier, move your feet side to side. Gently come back to center. Press up to hands and knees. With your block or some prop nearby, turn to face the long edge of your mat and be in an upright kneeling position. So you're on your knees, but your torso is upright. You can use a blanket or fold the long edge of your mat over for padding. Okay. Kick your right foot to the right. Flex your foot. Line up your right heel with your left knee directly under left hip. Your block, place it in your right hand. Bring your left hand to your hip. Lean your torso to the right and place your hand or your block to the floor inside of your front shin. With your hand still on your hip, stack your shoulders. Then do or don't, extend your top arm up and then in line with your ear like your crescent pose. Dig your right heel down and back. Press your tailbone in and even forward. Push from your right shoulder into your hand. Turn in your chest. Reach through your left fingertips. Lift back up. Lower your right knee. called gatekeeper or sometimes gate latch. Kick your left foot off to the left. Line up your left heel with your right knee. Right thigh vertical, which means it's not that long of a stance. And place your block into your left hand. With your right hand on your hip, lean your torso to the left. With your block on the same position, place it in front of your shin. With your hand still on your hip, turn in your chest to stack your shoulders. Then, do or don't, bring your top arm up and in line with your ear so your palm points down. Dig your left heel down and back. Press your tailbone in and even forward. Forward meaning toward the long edge of your mat that you can see. Push your bottom hand down, turn in your chest. Lift your chin and stretch through your top fingers. Gently come back up. Bring your hands to the floor, feet to the floor, fold over your legs. You can hold opposite elbow, maybe swing side to side. We're coming back down to our knees, so if that was uncomfortable for you, you can use your blanket or towel or double up on your mat. Lower your fingertips to the floor. Help yourself down onto your knees one more time. You can stay facing the camera or however you wish. I'm going to turn so you can see me from the side. We're going to do camel pose twice. The first time it's going to be hands on hips. The second time it'll be hands on hips or hands on heels or soles of feet. I'll talk you through it. Okay. I prefer toes curled under. It gives me a little more power. You can do tops of feet down. This is hands on hips only for the first one. Point your elbows back, squeeze your shoulders in. Push your hands down into your hips, lift your chest, lift your chin. Then begin to curl up in your heart, back in your head and shoulders, which is different than a lean in your low back. Squeeze your thighs in, tailbone down, abdomen in. Push your hands down to firm your legs and keep lifting your chest up as you go back. Similar to if you were curling a ribbon, you pull out to get the curl. It's not a crimp, it's a curl. Press your hands down, lift your torso. Uncurl your toes and have a seat on your feet or a seat on your block between your feet. You can repeat that again. You can rest in child's pose for the next pose. Otherwise, I'll talk you through the fuller expression of camel, Ustrasana. Come back up. When your toes are curled under, you have a foot size, whatever your foot size is, closer to your feet than if you had the tops of your feet down. So I prefer, again, toes curled under. You can do tops of feet down. With your knees hip width apart, bring your hands to your hips. We'll all start here. Press your hands down, lift your chest. Then as if you were curling a ribbon, go for length. Push your hands down, lift your chest up, and curl back, 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 back. Push your hands down again, curl up again, and if you know that you can do this without the support of your hands, gently begin to bring your hands to your heels. Squeeze your thighs and hips forward. Push your hands down and lift your chest wherever you are. Look forward or up if you're looking back. Keep extending the back of your skull as you lean back. If your hands are on your heels, tone your abdomen and squeeze your legs in. Press your hands to your hips. Press down, lift up. Uncurl your toes. Have a seat on your feet or on your block. Help yourself to a seat. Have your block nearby and go ahead and face the long edge of your mat again. For the next two seated poses, feel free to sit up on a blanket or a block. Bring the soles of your feet together, your knees wide, and lean into one hip. Move your inner thighs back and apart. Other hip, back and apart. Bring your hands to the floor behind you, lengthen your spine up. Then energetically work to send your inner thighs down. Lengthen your spine up. The next pose is also a forward fold. Plus, the last pose was a back bend. A big forward fold after a big back bend. You think about like a, oh my goodness, paperclip. Sometimes back bend, forward fold, not great for the spine. So you can stay upright, That's what I'm going to choose. Or if you wish, your knees are fairly low to the floor, you can feel free to fold forward. I like for people to know why they're choosing what they're choosing. It's a personal aim of mine. But it also brings intention into practice. If you're folded forward, lift your torso. Everybody hold your outer knees with your hands. Use your arms to lift up on your legs. Right? One at a time, widen your feet. Your feet might not go that wide, but widen them toward the corners of your mat and feel free to sit up. The more you elevate your seat, the more possible it will be to get your feet out. You can also do this with feet together, legs straight. Well, straight out in front of you. They might not be straight. Like you did in your last pose, which is Baddha Konasana. Lean into your other hip. Move your inner thighs back and forth. Same thing, second side. Then bring your hands behind you, and almost like you were like, I don't know, ratcheting your feet forward and back. Use that to move your inner thighs down and underneath you and to potentially widen your feet a little more. Dig your heels down. If your knees are turning in or out and your feet are upright, stay upright in your torso and work on inner thighs in if your knees are turning back, outer hip squeezing if your knees are turning in. I'll say that again. We want knees to point up in the direction of feet. If your knees are turning out, as in back, turn your inner thighs in. If your knees are pointing in, as in towards in front of you, squeeze your glutes in. That's your work. Stay upright. If your knees and your feet are both pointing up, feel free to walk your hands forward and lower your forearms to your block if it's available, or the floor. Push your heels down. Even squeeze them back as if you could bend your knees, but the floor is in the way. And like you did in your forearm lunge, push your elbows down and soften your heart. This is Upavishta Konasana, I believe. Walk your hands in. Lean back, hold the insides of your knees, bring your feet in. Then lie down on your back, please. Draw your knees into your chest. Roll side to side or be still. Stay here, hold your outer feet for happy baby. Move your arms inside of your legs, point the soles of your feet up. And again, you can rock side to side or just be still. Lower your feet to the floor. Do little windshield wipers back and forth with your knees. Last time, draw your knees in. And release your legs, Shavasana. Press completely. Be steady and still. Very slowly, deepen your breath. One at a time, bend your knees and roll to one side, please. Gently help yourself back to a neutral seat, comfortable seat. Place your hands to your thighs or place your palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment to honor your intention and attention to and within your practice. With deep reverence and respect. Namaste. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you.